Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And today I have the best Black Knight decks in the meta for you. I've got 4 decks, 3 full deck guides, a giveaway, and an interview with Glenn Jones, the principal game designer of Marvel Snap. So this episode is packed. We're even going to take some time to look at my shop. We got everything going for you in today's episode. So let's make sure we do that. Before we go further, going to ask you if you would please be willing to help us out. It's totally free to you. Hit that sub button, like, comment, help us extend our reach, help us grow. We bring you at least 2, usually more than 2, brand new decks every weekday. Decks from the top creators before they get famous, decks that are proven to win and succeed at the highest levels of Marvel Snap so that you can get infinite, get your infinity borders, and reach all your goals in the game. In addition, we do pretty consistent giveaways, some of the biggest in the game. We definitely do the biggest season pass giveaway every single month, but we have this other giveaway going on right now because right now on the Marvel Snap Zone YouTube is a podcast interview with Glenn Jones, but not just an interview. The interview also features Marvel Snap News himself, Browday, helping to ask the questions, and then Browday heads out, and we've got Den, the voice of Marvel Snap Zone, coming in. Den, Glenn, myself, and Roy, our other co-host, go through like 15 cards at every cost slot, discussing them and figuring out what the top 5 cards at each cost slot is with Get Glenn Jones. So I'm going to ask you to check that out. As an added benefit, we're giving away, let's say 5. I feel like I'm in a good mood. Let's do 5. 5 different Deadpool bundles, the anniversary bundle. If you would like to enter to win that bundle, subscribe and comment here. Just say, hey, whatever you want about today's video. No big deal. Also, subscribe on Marvel Snap Zone's YouTube. Comment on the Snap Judgments episode with Glenn Jones on any of the rankings you agree with or disagree with. I will pull a winner from there. I will double check that you also commented / subbed here. As long as you do that, you're going to win a Deadpool bundle. We'll announce winners, let's say Sunday. Sunday seems fair, right? So let's announce some winners on Sunday. That gives you a few days to comment this video, to sub here, to comment on Marvel Snap Zone, and sub there. Cool. So 5 Deadpool bundles. Good chance to win for you. Hopefully you're interested. Let's keep it going. We did the giveaway. I don't know who made one of the first decks we're going to talk about. I'm actually going to ask the community because this deck has the best stats of every deck in Marvel Snap right now that runs Black Knight. From 80 to over 100, it is easily the best stats right now, and I haven't seen anyone talk about it. I've looked all over the place. I can't find it. It doesn't have a million games, but it's got enough games, and then I played it. Deck is sick. We've also got the SuperTechGod deck. STG is the homie. He's one of the best people in Snap. Big deck energy, SuperTechGod with top 5 Sino Montoya. Just so you know, I will be on their podcast tonight. I'm not sure when that comes out. I'd assume tomorrow, but whatever. I will be on their podcast tonight, so make sure you check that out. We're going to talk about SuperTechGod's deck. We're not doing a full deck guide because all the biggies, your Alex Cochillas, your Regis Kilbins did like full videos on that. So like, look, if you follow me, you probably follow them, right? So yeah, I don't need me for that one, so we'll just keep going. We've also got a deck from the great Owlgod. Owlgod is the originator of the revival of Move. Lambie may have perfected it, and y'all know I love Lambie, but Owlgod started it playing and winning tournaments with Move decks. He has his take on Black Knight. We've also got Scuba. Scuba's like our secret weapon right now. Scuba's one of our friends from the J-Hugs Discord. J-Hugs is another fantastic creator. Scuba sent me his list. It's still a work in progress, but it's the list I've had. I don't know if it's like it's around as good as the SuperTechGod one and the one that like Lord knows where it came from, but it's also the one I had the most fun with, so I want to show you that. We've got a couple updates in Marvel Snap just to make sure you don't miss some big news happening in the community, and we've got to look at my daily shop. That's today's video. Let's go. This is SuperTechGod's Black Knight deck. This is fundamentally a Shuri Zero deck. Obviously, there's no zero, but that's what the decks are called. This is a fundamental Shuri Zero deck. where you're basically going to go something like Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster, Shuri, Vision, Taskmaster to win the game, and you've got armor and Luke Cage to protect those plays. You've got another play here, though. You can do something like um, Blade or Lady Sif, that Infinite, right? With Black Knight out, and now you've got a 20 power shard. You can still Shuri Nimrod have a 40 power that you then copy with Taskmaster. You're gonna need like Luke Cage and armor out for that, or you're a real sitting duck. But if you can get that going, it's freaking possible to beat. Hell, getting 20 power in 2 lanes without even doubling that Infinite and still being able to play another card on the last turn, like for example a Red Skull or a Vision or whatever, is real likely to win you a game, or just Ghost Rider that Infinite back, right? Like there's a lot of ways to get a lot of power on the board with this deck. So this is SuperTechGod's deck. This is the one everyone's been talking about. I think it's most likely to end up meta, partially because of Black Knight, but partially just because Shuri is completely freaking nasty, right? Like we all know this deck. We all know the gist of this deck and what it does, and now it just adds yet another high roll. So welcome to hell if you don't like Shuri, I guess. Let's get to our first deck that we're featuring, or next deck that we're featuring today. This will have the full guide and card replacements that you're used to. We've got Discard Miracle. This is the deck I have no idea who made. I looked at this and I was like, this is the greediest Zabu deck I have ever seen. Zabu is no longer a 3/2 that makes you play all the fours. What is this noise? And what this noise is fantastic. Okay, so if they don't have Mobius, and Mobius is slowly inching his way out of the meta, he's no longer in like 70% of decks. It's less than half of games now. You can still win against Mobius. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if they don't have Mobius and you can get Black Knight, Zabu, and Sarah out, you can go to town on the last turn. If you dropped Lady Sif in there somewhere, your last turn can be something like Dracula, Jubilee, Ghost Rider. Your last turn could be Shang-Chi, Ghost Rider, Dracula. And like the cards left in your hand, right? Like you can drop a shard, Ghost Rider, and Dracula, and then you've got like a Gigantor and an Infinite in America left in your hand, along with probably a cheaper thing or two. But your odds are so good at getting something good. Shang erases their thing. Dracula ends up huge and hard to beat. The shard is coming down late and usually behind on priority, so it's not. And the danger it is in other decks. This deck is sweet. It's got a 65% win rate upon the time I pulled it from 80 to 100. I used Untap for this, just so you know. I think this deck is completely sick. Zabu is also the only upper series card, assuming you pulled Black Knight. All the decks have Black Knight. I'm not going to talk about Black Knight replacements in the Black Knight video. That's silly. But this is Zabu. Zabu is needed for this, but everything else is Series 3 or lower. All right. This is so good. Turn 1 Black Knight, turn 2 Zabu. Turn 3, you would like to Sif, Infinite, or Giganto. Turn 4, Enchantress Mobius is such a good play. If they don't have Mobius, you just drop like a Ghost Rider and bring back the big and say, let's get rid of your Shang nice and early. Turn 5, Sarah, and if you have to play Enchantress here to get your like Zabu going, that's fine. Or if you drop Ghost Rider here, that's fine. If you Sarad, you can play 2 of Shard, Shang, Jubilee, Dracula, and Ghost Rider, and you can play 3 of those cards with Zabu, which is just utterly silly. And then left in your hand is very often going to be America or a big Shard or Infinite or Giganto. I don't know why Giganto is the single card in the game I have the hardest time remembering the name of. Makes no sense. Which leaves you great odds for that Dracula. I'm in love with this deck. I think this deck is so good. I think that people need to try this deck out. If you're gonna enter the giveaway in the comments and you have time, test this out. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if I'm completely insane and if this is working as well for you. Um, I played like 10 games, somewhere between like 8 and 12 games with this. It had like 130 games in the system when I pulled it. So like this isn't the biggest sample. It's possible that like people just don't know how to handle it. But like that Shang has been so good. That Shang, when you can drop like 20 power cards and Shang-Chi, like it's silly good. It's just so powerful. All right, let me know how it feels for you guys, please, please. I would really appreciate it. All right, next up, let's talk some variants. I am not buying the Max Greeky Black Knight because there are 3 that don't have release dates that I like more, and I don't want to double spend on the same card. There's a hip. I will spend for the hip for sure. I will spend for the other ones. If you're curious about the variants, by the way, when I did the Black Knight preview video, I cover all the variants. We've got the hip Zabu, the best Zabu. I love this card so much. The Lady Sif hip, nice. And the Sarah and Gigento hip, we've got our standard 4 hips. We don't really want to run decks with less than 4 hips. Hips are great. This is my favorite Dracula. This feels the most authentic to Dracula to me, where he's kind of ugly and scary. Love it. This Jubilee has a really great cartoon Jubilee energy, and it looks like one of my friends who cosplayed as Jubilee. This is the new Ghost Rider that they just gave us. This is why I'm not voting Ghost Rider in that new thingy-majig, because like the new vote for the variant you get for free, because they just gave us a Ghost Rider that's better than Weird Cop Ghost Rider. We've got Shang. This is the best Shang. Art Adams is one of the artists ever. A wonderful Enchantress. Both the Shang and Enchantress, by the way, are gold for me. I've also got a gold Sarah and a gold Chavez, but it's not these two. I just happen to like these two variants better and got them later. I also opened the collection track, the Pixel Sarah, so whoopee, another Sarah. This Giganto is great. His arms move in really cool ways, and I like this Infinite. I have 2 Infinites, but this one feels bigger, so I like that. All right, this is Discard Miracle. Let's keep it going. Next up, this is Owlgod's list. Owlgod's list is a Hella list, and it is greedier, as Hella lists tend to be. It's still got that Zabu, though, right? Still got that Zabu, but we're adding Stature now. What Zabu and Stature add is a backup plan, because you've got I discard a bunch of stuff, like I've got Black Knight. So I blade off my Infinite, and then Black Cat discards, and now I've got Hella for 1,000,000 power, and I've got Dracula in hand, I've got Ghost Rider and all this stuff, right? That's obviously the main game plan. But you can also do something like last turn, Ghost Rider to get 12 power from Black Cat, right? Like 9+3, and then also play Stature. And now you had a 18 power last turn. That's pretty good at Marvel Snap, right? Especially when you can spread it out. And then Dracula is going to discard something for a little bit more power. That kind of thing is really strong. You can also like play your just play your Shard, which might have a lot of power. It could have anywhere from 9 to 14 to 20 power, assuming that you play it well. So all really, really good, really cool stuff. You're gonna need Stature and Zabu for this. Like this list is like specifically built for that Stature last turn play. Again, Mobius ruins a lot of these decks today, but Mobius is slowly inching his way out the meta. Also, I hit the wrong blade. Damn it, that should be the hit blade. Excuse me. All right. In Owlgod we trust because he's money. Black Knight 1, Zabu 2, Siffer Dracula 3, Siffer Dracula 4. You can also drop a Shard here if you sift on 3. You can also drop Blade on 4 if you got that Zabu out, or you played Sif if there's a good card to discard. Remember, it's a Hella deck, so getting a couple discards is just good for you. Turn 5, you either Black Bolt, but you'd probably rather get Sif or Dracula out unless you're going to have to do the... As long as you have Hella, you'd rather Dracula probably, because you're going to want to do Hella last turn, which means that Black Bolt isn't as valuable, right? Instead, getting Dracula out tends to be better. And then you want to Hella or Ghost Hella and just get like 2 big things back, or Ghost Rider and Stature, and then you're getting 3 big things. So either way, you're getting a bunch of big stuff this way. This deck has been really good. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't generally like this as much as the other decks in the video, but I've learned through time that Owlgod's decks are great, even if they're not always great for me. And like I've had amazing success with certain of Owlgod's decks, and I've watched other people have amazing success with certain of Owlgod decks that I didn't. So this is at least a very good deck. Quick variant talk. The only variants that really matter here, I think, that we haven't talked about. I put the wrong blade in. That should be a hit blade. Oopsie. That hit blade gives me our standard operating procedure of 4 hips. We've got the Noir Black Cat. The only thing I like nearly as much as hips in this game is Noir variants, and this is a really great Noir one. Aces to that Black Cat, and a cute gardening Hella. I don't know why I like this one so much, but I think it's really adorable. Earth Day. All right, Scuba's deck. Scuba has, I didn't even do variants for this one, my bad. I built this in the in-game deck builder, and then I exported it back to Snapzone. So it missed it missed 3 variants. That's a little sad. 4 variants. Whatever. So I was like, Sunspot and She-Hulk can work in this deck. And it turns out they do, because like hilariously toward the end of the game, you can sometimes like you can if you pass 4, right? You can drop Colleen on turn 5 with something like Blade, and you just get really great value, or Sif and Colleen. And sometimes the cheapest card in hand, assuming you've been playing like the cards you have, right? is She-Hulk, and then like that's just a free She-Hulk discard. And then Lady Sif is also chucking Gigantor Infernon, and then you just drop Hella and you call it a day. And once in a while you're gonna get unlucky and your Sif is gonna hit that Hella, but like welcome to playing Hella decks, right? Um you have to risk it to win it. I didn't think Silver Samurai was gonna work in Black Knight decks, and be careful because Black Knight on either side will trigger your Black Knight, which means you could, if you're hitting an Iron Man or a Sunspot, you've got a 0 power shard, which obviously royally sucks. But this deck beats the crap out of a lot of Taskmaster because Taskmaster is 0 power and it's very easy to discard with their Silver Samurai. And B, you choose when you play these cards, right? So you can drop a Blade to discard something and then Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai is very often the play on 5 for that reason. And very often, Black Hat will just take care of that problem for you by discarding yourself and giving you a 9 power shard, making your Silver Samurai relatively safe. All right. This is just Silver Samurai, which who can beat Moon Knight, I think. It's obviously less safe if it's Moon Knight, and I might cut Iron Man for another big thing at that point. Think something like Doc Ock. But regardless of that, I think that that's a pretty good combo. Underwater attack, Scuba. All right. Turn 1 Black Knight, turn 2 Sunspot. Reverse those two if you want. You want to get Black Knight out generally as soon as possible because Black Hat will discard herself. Turn 3 Lady Sif if you can. Turn 4 Samurai or Shard. I like to drop Shard even if they're going to kill it here because I generally like to Samurai on 5. If you're not Samurai on 5, just dropping Iron Man is perfectly fine. And then on turn 6, you play Hella. You basically blade sort of wherever you can figure out how to find space in this deck, right? Like for that extra energy. I'm going to tell you what card is least important in this deck from my play, and I played more like 30 games with this one. The card that is least important in this deck is Black Knight. I think this deck might just be good without him. Like that might be a spot for Swarm or like Wolverine or something, and it might not be that much worse of a deck because this deck just kind of works. I strongly urge you to again try this out. I think this deck is really good, really good. I'm gonna cover the one variant that's different that we can see. We got the cool Colleen that I actually spent some gold on because I didn't have a Colleen variant. I've got really great Sunspots and really great Iron Mans. Sorry they're not here. What are you gonna do? Not redo. I love y'all, but I'm not redoing the whole video because I didn't put variants in for one deck. We're still gonna talk about some more variants though. Fret not. All right, news that you need to know. News that you need to know. First, over on the Marvel Snap website, there is an infinite leaderboard. They are giving you the top 1,000 at each of global and the different parts of the world. So the Americas, Europe, Asia, and other. So the Americas is real, like all of these are really cool, right? I just want to shout out that our friend Evazord, excuse me, I can speak sometimes. Evazord is like number 9 in the world, and that's really cool. So props to him. Our friend Tori is top 10 in the world. Props to Tori. So like, hey, big stuff. And number 3 in other is the genius of Marvel Snap, Safety Blade. So like some of our friends are doing really well here. Look, I'm pretty good at Snap. Like I'd go so far as to say like when I play with really top players, they think I'm really good. I'm never grinding for this. That's not the way my brain works. That's not the way my energy works. If you think that I'm less worth listening to because I'm not going to spend the time to grind, sorry. The first day that this leaderboard came out, I tried to climb. I did some like climbing. I started at like 3,200 and I climbed into the like high 2,900s. And I was like, all right, cool. That was a good session. And then I went to work. I played with my son. I came back the next evening and I was like 4,200. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing this. So like I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'm gonna do my best to like keep making the best content, to keep up with all the best players. But I'm not grinding like that. I'm too old and I don't have time. Big props to those that do. I think it's really cool. Lambie of all people, the king of conquest, spent today on his longest stream ever because of this, grinding ladder into the top 100. So whatever. Props to those who care. I care about it. I will follow it. I think it's cool, but I ain't doing it. All good. If you care about it, good luck to getting on it. If you would like help or tips or anything, I have all sorts of resources for you. Hop into the Marvel Snap Zone Discord and we'll help you. Next up, a thing I can't get. Another anniversary thing is if you sign up for Discord, if you play 5 games after connecting Snap to your Discord, you get a free month of Discord Nitro, which is really cool. You also get this really cool Hawkeye variant. However, you can't have had Discord Nitro in the last year, or it gives you a message that says, nope, you had Discord Nitro in the last year. This is for new people. Sorry. Well, at some point during the podcast history, Roy bought me Discord Nitro to be like, hey, your internet needs to not suck so we can do these things. Well, Discord remembers that, so I guess I'm missing out on that variant. It's a shame, but whatever. I have a hip Hawkeye, so I don't need your other Hawkeyes. But it's a shame. I would have liked both Discord Nitro for free for a month and this Hawkeye, but I can't get it. You can, though. Just make sure you check that out. Next up, my daily shop, and I believe this is our final section of the day. Our daily shop is Black Knight. I told you I'm not getting this Greeky one. I want the hip. I want one of the other ones that I can't recall right now. I'm not buying the Greeky one because then I'm just gonna have to buy the other one later. That defeats the purpose. I'm also not spending 1,200 gold on any Quicksilver. I'll tell you what, I have exactly one Quicksilver variant, and I want it for every card in the game, and my Quicksilver is a Pixel. It's Quicksilver, that's good enough. You can see I bought this Ebony Maw. It is an extraordinarily cool Ebony Maw. Buying this Ebony Maw puts me down to 24 cards in the whole game that I don't have a variant for. Ebony Maw was one. It no longer is. Hips are my favorite. I almost bought this. I've stared at this. I've almost clicked buy 5 different times. But I have the Spotlight Tribunal. And, like, I don't think the hip is enough better. I think the hip is a little bit. I don't think the hip is enough better that I super care here. Longtime viewers will know that Tribunal and Thanos sort of alternate as our podcast logo because Snap Judgments and Snap is Thanos and Tribunal is the judge of the Marvel Universe. But, like, I don't know, this other one's just good enough, right? Like, I don't need to spend money for nothing. I have a better Domino than this. I don't need it. I especially don't need it for 1,200. Also, same concept as Quicksilver. I bought the X-Force Warpath last week. I'm also not spending gold on a pixel. Or, I like this Jacinto Onslaught an awful lot, but I have the hip. And if I have a hip, I don't usually buy another variant because hips are goated. And finally, we've got Baby Silk. And I like this Baby Silk a lot, and I would buy this Baby Silk. But I spotlighted an extra spotlight, which is worth a ton of tokens for Silk, right? At like the Silk that you're seeing in front of you, the one that's on your far left as you're looking at the screen is the Spotlight Silk. I love it. I also bought 10 variants fairly recently, and the variant that popped up for free in my collection was this cool Venomized Silk. And I don't usually love Venomized variants, but the like subtlety of the venom sort of like crawling up her and eating her is freaking fantastic. So like I've got 2 completely like top tier Silk variants. So as much as I think this Baby Silk is adorable, and I do, I can't bring myself to buy it. All right, that's today's shop talk. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you hit sub. Hopefully you comment. Hopefully you try and win. But what's most important today, look at me scroll back real fast to the very beginning of this video. You would like some free Deadpool, hopefully. Hopefully you would like to hear us interview Glenn Jones and hear his takes on the top 5 cards of Marvel Snap. He is, again, the principal game designer. He's all the OTAs, all the new cards, all that good stuff. One who answers all your questions on Twitter about game mechanics and such. Check it out. Marvel Snap Zone YouTube. Comment here, sub here. Comment there, sub there. You're now entered to win one of 5 Deadpools. Let's go. We'll see you tomorrow, as we do every weekday and pretty much every Sunday at this point, with another Snap Take. Peace.